Morning, everybody, on this nice rainy morning in February. I, Chair Gillette, called the live hybrid state plumbing board meeting of February 15th, 2024 to order at 9:30. Debbie, could you please take roll?
Yes, sir. Chairman Curtis Gillette.
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Rozzell.
Here.
Connected by Zoom. Thank you, Matt. Craig Anderson in the room. Craig.
Here.
Thank you, Craig. Corey Fraser is excused this morning. He had a work emergency. And another member in the room is Tyrone Bergen.
Here.
Thank you, Tyrone. Molly Keller.
Here.
Connected by Zoom. And Jolie Bold. I haven't seen him connected yet. We do have a quorum, Mr. Chair. We can come back to Jolie Bold as soon as he connects.
Okay, thanks, Debbie. Members, do we have any changes to the agenda or order of business? I, Chair Gillette, ruled the meeting agenda approved. Does anybody have any changes to the draft minutes? I, Chair Gillette, ruled the draft minutes of December 21st, 2023 final. Going well. The next scheduled meeting is April 18th, 2024. Here, we're going to turn this over to you to explain the process of the voting for the membership of the CIEB, which is the, I wrote it down on my other notes, Construction Industry Energy Board.
Thank you, Chair Gillette, members of the board. For the record, my name is Pierre Sabagh, Policy Analyst with the division. This agenda item is to nominate and hold a board vote of a member to the Construction Industry Energy Board. The state requires that 2 members are required from this plumbing board to the Construction Industry Energy Board. There's a requirement that the members have practical experience in construction. Currently, we have 1 vacancy open. The other seat is currently held by Matthew Rozzell. I'll now explain the nomination process. We will first open up nominations. Any individuals who are nominated must accept this nomination. The nominee can then speak to any interest and qualifications. If more than 1 nominee is nominated and accepts nomination, votes are taken in order of nomination. After the nomination process is closed, if there's multiple candidates, we will have that vote. If the vote is unanimous, no more nominees will be heard, and the member is now a seat member if there is just 1 nominee. If there are multiple nominees, we will do the votes, and whoever has the most votes will be appointed to the board. If we only have 1 nominee, we can just do a motion, and the simple majority is required for that member to be a representative for the Construction Industry Energy Board. The board has the discretion today to either nominate candidates for the vacancy. We can move forward with replacing Matt's seat if we know Matt is leaving the plumbing board soon, or the board can do no votes today. And we can table this for a future meeting. So with that, I turn over to you, Curtis.
Okay, so we're going to ask the board, this is kind of important, and just little background, Travis Argue is on the board, and we need to replace his seat. And so we need a nomination for one of our board members to be on the board in Travis Argue's place. Does anybody want to make a suggestion?
Craig Anderson through the chair. Tyrone, because of your new introduction here to the board, the fact that you'll have some longevity on the board, whereas so many of us are kind of short timers, I nominate you. I think that your experience in the trade, along with the fact that we could have a long-running individual to basically support the board in their role, I feel confident in your abilities and nominate you.
I accept the nomination, but I do have some questions. Is that allowed?
Well, absolutely.
What are the requirements again, as far as experience and all that? Just experience in the construction industry itself, or?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was it.
Through the chair, Pierre Sabagh, policy analyst. Are there any other nominations?
Okay, hearing none, I'd like to make a motion that we have Tyrone become one of the members on the Construction Industry Energy Board. Would anybody like to second that?
I second that motion.
Thank you, Matt. Debbie, do you want to take roll call for the vote?
Yes, sir. Since Jolie Bold is not connected yet, I'm going to mark him absent. Molly Keller?
Aye.
Thank you. Tyrone Bergen?
Aye.
Craig Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Rozzell?
Aye.
And Chair Curtis Gillette? Mr. Chair, the motion is unanimous. Congratulations, Tyrone.
Congratulations, Tyrone.
And there is a meeting coming up March 20th.
Okay, here, let's get to the public comment items.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Once again, for the record, Pierre Sabagh, policy analyst with the division. As of this morning, we have received one request for public comment to the board from Mr. Sean McElhinney. Mr. McElhinney, if you're present in the on Zoom or in the room for public comment, please come forward and identify yourself now.
Hello. Everyone hear me just fine?
Yeah, we hear you, Sean. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman and the board, I thank you for letting me take a few minutes today to speak to you. I don't have an award-winning speech wrote, but I'm going to try my best with some notes I made. So, I am a licensed journeyman plumber, 8592 JP. I represent Local 290, plumbers and pipe fitters. I'm an apprenticeship instructor and journeyman instructor part-time. I'm here to talk about one of my journeyman classes I teach, which is the Basic Life CPR class. It's an 8-hour course. I've been doing it for about 6 years now. So I just kind of want to bring my observations as an instructor to you guys. So after about 6 years of doing this, seeing not really any changes in the curriculum, but we do update our members every couple of years due to periodic changes in the curriculum. This class used to get 8 hours from the BCD. It's currently getting 4 on the plumbing side. We offer most of our classes to our membership free of charge, but still getting folks to take a class on a Saturday can be challenging. And now it's become harder for me to get plumbers to take this class just due to the hours being reduced by the state. Still currently getting a lot of pipe fitters taking my class because the state still gives 8 hours towards their class 5. So the cycle I've observed is journeyman or last minute and do the minimum for continuing ed. Typically, a journeyman would take 16 hours of code class and finish with a first aid class, for example. Now, most are unwilling to take the class due to the 4 hours. Once again, circling back to that giving minimum. I'm here to stress the importance of the class and how versatile it really is. Yes, it is work related, but it's also a class that taught a member to save a choking child or members administering CPR. I have several of these examples, but not time to share. Most that have taken this class have been able to help someone in distress, from a coworker to a friend, a child, a stranger, even a family member, making it a very important class. It's not an easy class. It requires participation and hands-on exercises with a pass-fail requirement. It takes students out of their comfort zone most of the time. It was a class I was terrified to take coming up through my apprenticeship. But it's necessary to teach some of these skills that aren't easy to deal with in a real life scenario. I would like you guys to consider giving the plumbers full credit again. So there's more incentive to them to come take time to learn the skills that could save a life. I've become passionate about this class. I really do enjoy teaching it, which is kind of unique because I was terrified of it as an apprentice. There's no financial gain for me here. It's just, I'm bothered that I can't get my fellow plumbers to take the class anymore. And I'd really like to see a little bit more incentive for them. That way it kind of pushes them back in to take it again. Because I have had a lot of compelling stories from people over the years on how they had the confidence to assist someone in distress, from a stranger to someone in their own household. So that's really all I have for you. I just kind of wanted to give an instructor view of what I'm seeing here, and I'd love to see plumbers get more credit for it again. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sean.
I have a question for Sean, if I may, through the chair. For the record, Andy Skinner, Plumbing Program Chief. Sean, is this course you're giving, is this a recertification course or a new certification course? Is it a required course for those that are certified in CPR? Or is this just a course they're taking for continuing education?
So there's so many scenarios. There can be job site requirements. So you will see an influx once in a while on job site required to have it, or a company will require it. It's a 2-year cycle. So most cases it's a recert for journeyman. They've been through it more than once in their career. So it's an 8-hour class. It's same drill even for a recert. It's a full 8-hour day. Have to go through all the curriculum again. So regardless of taking it for the first time or coming in too later to take it again, it's a full run through of the curriculum, even if it hasn't changed, because a lot of this stuff we're looking for 6-month retention. It's a lot of curriculum in an 8-hour course. You really got to push to get through it. So every 2 years, even if they took it every 2 years, we're still hoping for, I don't want that to sound bad, but 6 months of retention on everything they've had to learn in that one day. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Does any other members have any questions for Sean? Okay, thank you, Sean. So we're gonna have to, obviously Sean came to us, expecting us to discuss and take a look at what he feels. So do any of the members have any comments on their thoughts?
Matt Rozzell through the chair.
Yeah, Matt?
I do agree. This is, very valuable information. I've been on job sites where people have been injured. I've, seen stuff at home, car accidents. I think it is an important skill for people to have under their belts. And I would agree that could be an 8-hour class or get full 8-hour certification hours for that.
Okay, thanks, Matt. And I sit on the Code Continuing Ed Committee, and so I have to be careful here because I'm acquaintance of Sean, so I don't want to be biased on my comments. So I'm going to tell you the other side of the coin here. When we were on the committee, we did discuss this, and Sean, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with you, okay? And I just have to be honest, and part of the reasoning we cut it to 4 hours was we would like the plumbers to get other education. And it is a 24-hour every 3 years to renew your license. So that gives them an opportunity to go out and get other training. However, with 8 hours credit, they still need to go get another 16 hours of continuing ed. And is what we didn't want is the plumbers to get in a rut where they're taking the same classes every 3 years and renewing their license that way and not going out and gaining additional education. And so that's where the Continuing Ed Committee came from by giving this class of 4 hours. I do not disagree with Sean at all about the importance of safety and the importance of being able to be out there and assist people when they're in distress and injured on the job site, at home, in an auto accident, whatever the case may be. And so at the other side of the coin, I don't discount what Sean was saying. But I just had to say our views on why we're trying to get the plumbers to go out and get additional classes. But the significance of first aid, I'm not gonna sway anybody's decision. So again, if the board members would like to discuss this and make a nomination, I just wanted to let you know where we were coming from on the Continuing Ed Committee in the task of making sure plumbers aren't taking the same classes over and over again. So that was it.
Craig Anderson, through the chair. Hey, Sean, as a past instructor at 290, I recognize the struggle to get journeyman into the classroom. You can pay them, and they'll fight it. As a proponent of diversification in what is continuing education, I feel that there is, in just a continuing education scenario, where maybe a refresher course, you're mentioning that the ability to withhold that information or retain that information is a significant challenge that, possibly for the continuing education standards, we work a curriculum that might be more condensed, a little shorter, if possible. Again, it's been a while since I've taken that course. And for those that need to research, be it through employer request, whatever the case, that they need to just sign on and take on their role and responsibility. I don't want to see, as Curtis had kind of alluded to, the repetition and significance of continuing education courses being the quickest, easiest, fastest way just to get through it. There's an awful lot in the plumbing world that is changing. And, we have rule and law for 4. We have, code update for 4. 16 hours is in a 3-year period. There's a lot to be learned, and the hope is we can try and energize both our journeyman plumbers that are basically taking on new code cycle information, new standards in the industry to expand and kind of diversify their education process. Again, just my thought and feeling. I hope that you can kind of appreciate what the board is trying to do and broaden the skill sets of the journeyman plumbers in this 3-year cycle for 24 hours is really kind of a minimum standard. There's significant learning that can be had. Thank you.
Through the chair, if I may. I too agree that it's an important class. Not going to knock that, Sean, at all. Also a fellow instructor, so I get the challenge of even getting students involved in anything you're teaching, to be honest. You're only going to get out of it what you put into it. Just curious, if I may, my naivety, if you will, whether we decide 4 hours or 8 hours, you said every 2 years, is that correct, Sean? It expires?
Correct.
I guess what I wouldn't want to see is a guy taking the same class twice to get that 16 hours in that 3-year span if it fell in that. I think that's what your concerns were, Curtis, if I may, or at least the board.
Yeah, and that's what the continuing ed board had come up with.
Okay. Is there a limit set currently where you can't take the same class? Because I'm a plumber, and I know when I was, we tend to, human nature, just find the easiest path, right? Get your hours, get it done. Having been on this side, I do understand the importance of education. And we do forget things. As humans, we need to be reminded. But is there a limit now currently that they can only take one course once out of that 3 years, or?
No.
Is there a way that we can add that, not knowing, as a requirement?
If I may, through the chair, Andy Skinner for the record, Plumbing Program Chief. Currently, what the setup is to try to diversify. There is no language that would not allow somebody to take a couple of classes or the same class over and over again. That is a discussion the board can have if they want to add to it. I know there has been some changes on the CE in the process, and we're continuing to work on that process as well. And so those conversations can be had here in the near future. So definitely it can be looked at if that's what the board would want to do forward.
Perhaps, if I may, through the chair, can we table that to discuss that as an option?
That may be the best option right now, Ty, is because I think we've got a good discussion here. And I think Sean's presented himself well, and the importance, we all can appreciate the importance of first aid, but I said the other side of that, and so, yeah, you bring up a good point. And I think we should maybe table it and discuss it, look into it, and come back the next meeting and start this conversation again. And so Sean, for fear that we make a decision today that may not represent the board. I would like to have a moment to discuss this and come back and review it again next meeting. And would that be okay with everybody else on the board? Okay, and Chair Gillette, I would like to table this for now, and let's discuss it and come back and see what we think. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, Pierre Sabagh, Policy Analyst with the Division. Also, thank you to Sean. We're still in public comment, so I'll hold the line open for another moment in case someone who did not sign up would like to provide public comment today.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Hearing no one else, it's back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Pierre. Appreciate it. Okay, now we move on to Chief Skinner to address the program update.
Thank you, Chair Gillette. For the record, my name is Andy Skinner, Plumbing Program Chief, State of Oregon Building Codes Division. I do have a couple of items for the board today, just a couple of updates, really. One of them is I wanted to update the board. Back in August, OA came to the board and shared with the board that they had some issues with nitrate in Morrow and Umatilla counties, and they had a program set up to help individuals try to mitigate those issues. In that program, they stated to the board they were having some challenges trying to get contractors to bid on the projects. So the board did in September provide to OA a list of contractors that they felt might be interested in the project. And since then, the OA has communicated that they did get one more contractor that was licensed to help with the project, and they're under contract now, and they're still moving forward with that project. So I think they would still like to probably have a few more on there, but they do have two contractors now that are available for that project. So any questions on that? Okay. The next item I shared with the board at the last board meeting about the licensing applications for journeyman plumber, and that the division was revamping those licenses and spread them out to actually, or not license, but the license application, excuse me. And that project is complete. Those license applications have been changed to 3 separate applications. They're available on our website now. There's an application for those that are basically coming in from out of state. There's an application for those that come through the Oregon Apprenticeship Program. And then there's also an application for the specialty licenses. And you'll find those all now up on our website and ready to go. So those are the 2 items I had for the board today. Are there any questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Okay. Kathy, we can discuss the contested case representatives for the enforcement services.
Good morning, Chair Gillette and members of the board. For the record, I'm Michael Mayoroga Hamilton. I'm sitting in for Kathy today. I'm a contested case representative with the division. Before the board is a summary of the consent orders recently negotiated by the division on the board's behalf for settlement prior to hearing. We've entered into consent order agreements in 2 cases since the last board meeting. All settlements, including the amount owed and suspended civil penalties, fall within the guidelines on the penalty matrix, and they contain the standard conditions. Board action is required on these cases. The summaries of these consent orders are included in your chart and in your chart packet, and we've also provided copies of the consent orders themselves in your packet. All these cases are fairly standard, but I am available to answer any questions you have regarding any of these actions. Again, board approval or denial of the consent order is now required, and you can choose to approve or deny the agreements as a whole or take action on each agreement separately if you choose.
Okay, I lost my place, I'm sorry. So, am I to make a motion to approve these?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve these 8 cases.
There are just 2 cases.
2? I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
I was writing notes and lost my place. And make a motion to approve the 2 cases. Anybody?
Second it.
Everybody second it? The
Mr.
motion,
Second the motion.
okay, thank you. We need
I'll
to
go
take.
ahead and take roll.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Molly Keller,
Aye.
Tyrone Bergen,
Aye.
Craig Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Rozzell,
Aye.
Chair Curtis Gillette.
Here?
I take it that's a yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mike,
Yes.
do you want to review the other 2 cases?
Yes, so for agenda item 3B, before the board, we have 2 default orders. No action is required by the board on these items, but I am available to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody want to discuss those 2 cases? No?
I have no questions.
Okay, are we going to vote on those 2? No?
No, a vote isn't required on these.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A little messed up on those. Thank you. Okay, now that I'm all confused, we're going to move on to Pierre for policy analysis.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. For the record, Pierre Sabagh, Policy Analyst with the Division. Our State Plumbing Chief, Andy Skinner, has been evaluating courses and instructors on the board's behalf. In January, 24 applications from 5 organizations were reviewed. 21 courses were recommended for approval. 3 instructors were recommended for approval. A motion is needed to approve, amend, or deny the Plumbing Chief's recommendation, examples of which are outlined in your packet. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Pierre.
Craig Anderson, through the chair, would like to motion to approve Chief's recommendations for the approval or denial of the courses and instructors.
Thanks, Craig. Anybody want to second the motion?
Through the chair, I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Ty. Debbie, do we want to take roll?
Thank you. Molly Keller,
Aye.
Tyrone Bergen,
Aye.
Craig Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Rozzell,
Aye.
Chair Curtis Gillette.
Here?
Mr. Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Debbie. Then let's go back to Pierre to introduce and discuss the more policy.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. For the record, Pierre Sabagh, Policy Analyst with the Division. This agenda item is a retroactive continuing education request. It's brought forward.
Yes, apologies for being late. I just got out of BRAC. And I'm trying to remember.
As I said, this is a retroactive continuing education request. This is brought forward by IAPMO through Brad Senecaut, as they are seeking retroactive credit approval for its IAPMO Cascade Chapter course, retroactive to this October. This course is taught monthly and was approved in our previous cycle. They are requesting 2 hours of credit. Their letter and application is in your packet today, and this agenda item will require a motion to approve or deny this retroactive request, examples of which are in your packet today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And this is for the Cascade Chapter, the 2 hours. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
Through the chair, I'll make a motion to approve the hours.
Okay, and before I'm sorry, Ty, Brad, did you want to say anything about your courses?
Good morning, Brad Senecaut, with IAPMO and City of Hillsboro, through the chair and the board. We've been doing this training for decades, and so, but every time when we have a new code cycle, we reapply and whatnot. So the intent was try to get as close to the October 1st changeover. I think I didn't get it sent in until maybe the 5th of October, but anyway, that's for the reason behind the retroactive. It's been busy, lots of things going on between now and then. So if we could just play some catch up, we very well appreciate it. We usually have industry, factory reps come and do a presentation for this. So we're staying abreast of the newer products and installation methods. And we'll discuss some of the current code changes and whatnot. So, yeah, I think it's profitable. Everybody gets something out of the meeting. So, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, Ty, now we'll go back to you.
If I may, Chair? Chief.
Yes.
This is Andy Skinner, Plumbing Program Chief for the Building Codes Division. I just kind of wanted, since we have a couple new members, I wanted to share with the new members kind of why this particular course has come to the board and not through the standard process. And there's two organizations that, as Brad stated, historically have come to the board with letters for approval. And these are national organizations, and by rule, they're allowed to kind of do this through a separate process because they're a national organization that have to do with our codes. PHCC is one, and IAPMO Cascade Chapter is another. So I just kind of wanted to give that information for the new board members so you can kind of see why there's a two-step process here between what you already approved that I have reviewed versus what the national organizations are coming to the board for. So I just wanted to share that today for the new members. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Does anybody want to have any questions for Brad before I actually should have offered that? Or any discussions? So basically, and what Andy said, generally we're approving classes with a set curriculum, with a set instructor, and IAPMO, amongst others, only two. Then they have regular meetings where they bring in, so there isn't a set curriculum, but it is very beneficial. They bring in factory reps for the industry, and there's always new learning that goes along. And they're just asking for, I believe, 2 hours every 2 months. So that's what we've got in front of us right now. Ty, did you want to make a motion?
Yeah, and I'd also like to say, if I can, it's been years since I've attended the meetings, Brad, but when I did, just due to other obligations, teaching and whatnot, they're very informative. So I do recommend apprentices, hey, go to the meetings. They're very informative. So sorry to jump the gun early on that, but I have been to them. They're very educational, so we appreciate what you do. But yes, I'd like to propose a motion to approve those minutes, those hours.
Craig Anderson, through the chair, second that.
Thank you. Debbie?
Yes, sir. Molly Keller?
Aye.
Thank you, Molly. Tyrone Bergen?
Aye.
Craig Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Rozzell?
Aye.
And Chair Curtis Gillette?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Okay, looks like we're at the end of the meeting. Before we end this, is there any other discussion amongst the board members at this time? And if anybody else had any questions, with this already open to public comment, but very good. There is no further business. The State Plumbing Board meeting is adjourned.